a night for down payments on May flowers here at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington, where tonight Sounders FC2 play host to the Real Monarchs of Salt Lake City. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us here on the final time that we'll be streaming live on YouTube this season. Andrew Harvey alongside James Riley and Dave Clark. Gentlemen, we'll get to that later on in the match. But tonight, midweek USL action, James, and plenty to be excited about.
Absolutely. Great fixture tonight. Great time to play. Real Monarchs come in. For me, the spotlight is Chandler Hoffman. Fantastic player, great pro, a former teammate of mine with the LA Galaxy when we won the MLS Cup, but is a consummate pro, fantastic left foot, and a pure goal scorer. Look for him to bring his experience and will to win to the fixture this evening.
Hoffman, like you said, plenty of experience. 1 goal to his name already here in 2018. Dave Clark, on the Sounders side of the equation, the S2 have bolstered their numbers a little bit. Some help coming down from the first team, and it's Henry Wingo who's drawing our attention for S2.
It's almost like a rehab assignment for Henry Wingo. He's missed the last couple games in MLS with a hand injury. He's going to be down tonight playing in the middle. He's also going to be one of the veteran leaders on this side because there's going to be a lot of youth, both to his left, his right, and behind him. So what he does on the ball tonight will be quite important.
James, like you mentioned, Chandler Hoffman, a former teammate of yours, plenty of veteran experience. S2 is a general rule, a younger club, but the Monarchs have this sort of hybrid approach to their affiliation with Real Salt Lake. Stylistically, how does that affect the match tonight?
Yes, absolutely, Andrew. I think for the Monarchs, they do have a bit more experience on the field, and I think that's kind of been the common theme throughout the last 3 fixtures that S2 has faced. So look for the Monarchs to just bring that will and that desire to actually compete and how important a midweek fixture is against a struggling S2 team. So they're definitely coming in for a full result.
It's the second of 3 matches in a 7-day window for S2. Don't go away. Kickoff coming up after this. We welcome you back in to Cheney Stadium, where the rain is now beating down steadily. We're moments away from the opening kick. Andrew Harvey alongside James Riley and Dave Clark to get things started for you this evening between S2 and the Real Monarchs. Well, let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these squads. Dave Clark, take us through this Real Monarchs starting 11.
In goal, they've got Andrew Putna. You'll also notice 3 former UW players on the field for them. Michael Gallagher, James Moberg, and Josh Hurd, all familiar faces to soccer fans here in the Puget Sound.
General Manager Craig Weibel from Real Salt Lake, always pulling in his UW guys, former assistant coach for the Huskies. On the other side of things for S2, who jumps out at you, James?
Yeah, for me, it's a young lineup again. I think Serrano getting his first start, 15 years old, is going to be an interesting, and they've been giving a lot of confidence to the young player. I think also making his first professional debut is Malone. So that should be also interesting. And Morse making his first start of the season after coming off a bit of an injury. So look to have those players be a bit bright to start the game.
Referee Alan Kelly will get things underway. S2 in rave green, moving from right to left on your screen. Pardon me, from left to right, as we've reversed our camera here in our 3rd home game of the season. So finally now you are seeing things as we do. Monarchs in white going back the other way. Kelly, the man in charge, as we mentioned, very experienced referee at the MLS level. He'll be assisted by Seth Martin and Corbin May. The fourth official is Chad Stewart. We're underway here at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma. And right off the bat, the Monarchs putting S2 under pressure. James, something that we might expect to see throughout the 90 minutes.
Absolutely. Monarchs are coming in 3-0, 9 points to start this season. A great start for them. Older, more experienced team of pros. So look for them to kind of push the pace of the game, and look for Kelly, the head referee in charge, to actually let the play go a little bit. It's nice and wet and dewy, so I expect the game to be very fast and bright.
Ball settling down near midfield there. That's Charlie Adams, who swings it to the right side. Here's Josh Hurd. Hurd upended by a challenge from Jake Morris there. Morris came on as a substitute in a match that was already in dire circumstances over the weekend against the Sacramento Republic. Wound up conceding a penalty that proved to be the game winner.
It looks like they're going to set up to serve it again. Set pieces have really hurt S2 this year. They've begun with a lot of chances off set pieces, so we'll see how they can deal with this first one here.
This is Justin Portillo, the captain, swinging that one in. One's headed away. Ball runs out the far sideline, and we'll take our first throw of the match. Dave, this is an S2 side that pretty much this starting 11 this afternoon, everyone is either a teenager or on a first-team contract with the MLS Sounders. What does that do for cohesion and chemistry?
Well, in some ways it's good because those teams, the 6 of them, they've played together frequently and recently. So they should hopefully lean on their knowledge of each other and then have David Estrada and Henry Wingo coach them up just a little bit.
Yeah, Estrada, the lone player on an S2 contract, but that's Henry Wingo on the ball. And here he comes with his pace toward the byline, looking for space for a cutback cross, but he's defended tightly by Michael Gallagher.
Great defending by Gallagher there. Great defending. Way to stand him up.
A couple of former University of Washington guys going at it there. Up the field, and that's Hurd once more. He's dispossessed by Morris.
It's well done by
Morris drawing the free kick.
Yeah, again, for me, the pace of this game is going to be sharp. It's going to be very quick just by the dewiness and the wetness of the field. It's going to force the game to be quicker. As a player, you love surfaces like this, a surface that can stand up, and that's wet, allows you to ping the ball around and really accelerate the tempo of the game.
With Malone drawing the free kick here. This one comes to Estrada, and that an easy decision for the assistant referee. It's offside.
And you don't mind that by Estrada. You want him to stretch the back line early, decent ball, decent look, keep the back line of the Monarchs honest, and play off the back shoulder of the center backs is what Estrada was trying to do there.
First look at the leg of Andrew Putna, making his second start of the season. Putna from Illinois, went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, and you saw right there, Dylan Tevez losing his footing. Leads to a cross inside the box. Ball still loose. Space for a shot, and a early goal for the Monarchs.
Fantastic goal. For me, an experienced side that was able to punish S2 for a slow start. Unfortunate on the slip there, but they're able to get service in the box, runners in the box, a layoff. Fantastic finish.
It's the first of the year for Masta Cacher, the man from Quebec, who opens his scoring account here in 2018 in dramatic fashion. Now time and space above the box, and he just rifled that one home. Another look at it here.
Unfortunate on the clearance, great layoff, and you get punished. So S2 has an opportunity again to affect the game positively with a good clearance. It doesn't happen, and a team flowing like the Monarchs is going to punish you for that mistake, and they did that exactly.
Just to clear their lines there. Ball headed back toward Hurd. James conceding this early into a match. I think officially that goal is going to go down as scored in the 4th minute. is it almost one of those things where you're going to have to just throw it out the window and acknowledge you're going to play uphill now, or does that allow you to affect your psyche for S2?
Yeah, I mean, it's twofold for a team like Monarchs who are on an undefeated start. That gives them a lot of life early, and I'm sure that was their game plan to really start this game fast. For a young / veteran side for the S2, now we'll see how they respond. Going down a goal early at home. Now they have nothing to lose, so it kind of can take the nerves out of the game a little bit. Now they can just play. But that next goal is going to be very important.
Monarchs 3-0 to start 2018. They're looking for a 4th consecutive victory. Be the best ever for head coach Mark Briggs's side. Gonzalez trying to get that ball to Estrada. Estrada harassing his defender. Gets out wide right to Brody. Won away by Tony Alfaro. Malone, misplayed pass there. Was hoping to link up with Dylan Tevez. Malone's a player that 16 years of age, Dave making his first USL appearance for S2 and recently back from a very successful trip to Dallas with the Sounders U17s.
Yeah, that U17 group won the GA Cup, the Premier Division, and one of the things Malone needs to lean on right now is that squad went down a man and managed to win the final there. So he has that experience recently, and that's got to be something that he carries with him tonight, because similar circumstances here. You're down a goal or down a man, you can't quit.
Situation playing down a man, something that's become all too familiar to Sounders fans, both at the USL and MLS level this season. S2, of course, had the unfortunate tendency of trying to deal with being 2 men down. This ball comes wide to Jordy Delem. Delem bowled over, stays on his feet, and that's going to draw a free kick in a dangerous position in the right alley. Masta Cashier going to remonstrate with Alan Kelly a little bit.
Great surge down the right side. Love to try to see him whip it in first time, knowing that there's actually only one runner in the box. There's another runner coming late, but did fantastic to try to get around it. Draw a foul is what he did. So look for them to put in a dangerous, be an out-swinging free kick in a very dangerous spot. Good opportunity for S2.
Estrada and Ray Serrano were talking things over. Serrano going back inside, Estrada the lone man over the ball.
And this is what I've talked about. I don't think they have enough numbers in the box for being down a goal. For me, you should really crowd the box and really try to get this equalizer.
Putna comes off his line. He'll draw the free kick as Tony Alfaro was contesting that in the air.
For me, that's been a common theme. I think when S2 create chances, especially off the set piece opportunities, for me, there's not enough guys in the box who are really trying to dictate and affect the play. I think it's almost overly cautious with coverage, especially when you're down a goal. For me, you throw an extra guy or two into the box to cause something. Try to get a knockdown, cause some havoc on this wet surface.
It's interesting, most teams when they've put less numbers forward, it's because they have a clear and obvious target or two. And S2 doesn't have that. So in some ways they should be compensating with numbers.
Yeah, I would agree.
Charlie Adams can't get that by Serrano.
Or it's there where you have to be clever, and maybe you're doing something where you're able to get a screen, and maybe you're cutting that back to the top of the box for a shot on goal. But they need to be a bit more clever on set pieces to be dangerous without true targets in there.
Brody to Hurd, ball comes back in the middle. It's a shot. It's on the ground, and it's wide of net.
Another great layoff. Another great layoff opportunity. You see the experience of this Monarch side coming out early in this game.
Brian Meredith, the man in goal for S2 today. Be important for him to lean on his experience. With Malone, Jake Morris, 2 academy players in his back line.
Yeah, again, Meredith, very seasoned pro. Nothing he can do on that first attempt, but his job will be to keep them in this game as long as he can by communicating to his young core in front of him and coming up with saves when called upon.
That ball gone out the far touchline. It's gone for a throw for the Monarchs. Well, 10 minutes gone. And off the right foot of Masta Cashier. Now Monarchs already up 1-0 here at S2 at Cheney Stadium. S2 trying to press in a coordinated fashion. Serrano coming forward to apply pressure to Gallagher. He gets it up to Hernandez. Wide left to Ryden. Straight up to Cashier, back to Ryden on the underlapping run. Shuffled away by Malone. Wingo, Serrano. Pulls it back, but wins the throw.
And for players like Wingo, especially in a fixture like this, it's important for him to really try to dictate the pace of the game and not play outside of himself, but just really affect the game positively with his attributes. And he has very good attributes, and you just want him to play simple, affect the game, affect the flow, and just contribute, making players around him better.
That one lost into touch. Both teams having a little bit of trouble, as you kind of prophesied, James, on this slick surface in the opening minutes.
Yeah, it's going to raise the technique level a bit, especially with the dewy surface. You have to be sharp, and you see the Monarchs coming out a bit sharper in it. They don't seem too phased by it. And to be pinging the ball around, getting in good spots.
Ryden, straight up, headed down on the way by Jordy Delem. One back by Cashier. Cashier going to press on here, going straight at Cameron Martin.
I like Cashier. Already confidence he shows on the ball. The first goal that he had, that's going to give him a bit more confidence throughout this fixture.
Portillo under pressure. Just went back to Moberg. Now they're looking for Ryden on the home run ball. Ryden knocking it down for Cashier. Back wide for Ryden. Blocked by Delem.
Great block. For me, that's the difference. That block is what was needed for the last home game here that led to the game-winning goal for Fresno, to really sacrifice the body, really cut down the angle of the service, and really challenge the service.
Ryden looking for an option to toss this ball in. Comes straight back out for another throw. Delem winning another ball. Jordy Delem, Dave, is a player that has played kind of all over the place in his time in Seattle. It started as a center back with the S2.
Yeah, started as a center back with S2, earned a first-team contract as a defensive mid, and now we see him at right back, essentially due to red cards and injuries.
We were mentioning it earlier before the action took us away. S2 going down to 9 men against the Sacramento Republic. Rodrigue LA sent off on 2 yellow cards, a suspension which has successfully been challenged and overturned with the USL office. For Denzo Ulysses, straight red card will stand. Neither of those players available for selection tonight, as Wade Weber mentioned to us that he wanted to rest LA. In any case, as S2 have a third match coming up this Saturday against Rio Grande Valley.
That's part of why you're seeing so much youth on the field today, is you have to have squad rotation. The Monarchs took a different direction and put on several veterans rather than the youngsters in the middle of the game, or middle of the week.
And again, I'm sure they're measuring each player's workload. For me, early in the season, you want to have squad rotation to a degree, but you also want to establish some type of chemistry and some type of rhythm as a player, and just get a string of 3 to 5 games where you can kind of really get into the season and get your match fitness up as well. So I see it twofold.
Thrown in from Brody toward Portillo. Monarchs looking to press forward. It's Cashier once more, back toward his right foot. Cashier, his run takes him all the way across the box. Now he picks out Brody. Brody toward the byline. Low ball in, dealt with by Alfaro, but it's going to stay in play and finally be cleared away. That looked like it was Azriel Gonzalez who got involved on the clearance. Adams. Back wide for Brody. Controlled by Jake Morris and turned back over. Hernandez at the byline inside the area. Did the ball go over? It did, and it's out for an S2 goal kick.
He wanted 1 more yard to play with there.
Yeah. Unfortunate by Morris, did the first part right, but then wasn't clean with the clearance. Again, led to a dangerous opportunity that was almost gifted to the Monarchs, and they almost made him they almost punished S2 again.
15 minutes gone here at Cheney Stadium. Monarchs on top 1-0 over S2. James, what have you seen out of the first quarter hour between these two sides?
Yeah, for me, I think the experience of the Monarchs and just the rhythm that they're in as a unit is, you're really seeing that, and they're going to look to amplify that through the course of the game. It's a great test for S2 to really try to get this next goal and stay in it and as long as they can to get some type of result from this game. And it may come against the run of play, because for me, the Monarchs have the majority of the run of play right now.
Always a risky proposition to head the ball back toward your own keeper. Pays off for James Moberg there. Getting it back to him under pressure from Estrada. Well, this is a Monarchs team that had unprecedented success last year in USL play. 20 wins, finished in the top spot in the Western Conference, and then lost a heartbreaker on PKs to the Sacramento Republic in the first round of the playoffs. But they're certainly hungry for more in 2018, wouldn't you say, James?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a squad, even though it's connected to their first team, is looking to win not only games but also win the league. And they're using, a mixture of veteran players with young talent and trying to find that fine line and that balance where they can win games but also develop through their pipeline and their academy system.
Plays called back for offside. Restarted with a free kick from Putnam to Gallagher. Work to the near sideline for Ryden.
And the Monarchs, their first 2 years started off with a very young core group of players. And halfway through the second season, almost mandated by their ownership group that they needed to win more games. And so you saw the kind of change in philosophy and methodology of trying to really infuse older, hungry, accomplished veteran players that still had a lot to give with a younger core of players that could learn from them on the field, which I think is a good model.
This is Serrano. 15 years of age is Ray Serrano, youngest signing in club history. Not looking too much out of place down there, except for perhaps in the size department, Dave.
It's interesting we mentioned the red card in the GA Cup final.
This ball may come through for Gonzalez. It's poked away and trickles over the byline. That should be a corner, and it is.
It was Ray Serrano who had been sent off in that GA Cup final.
Well, S2 now. A chance for the corner. Gonzalez will be the man to send it in.
Yeah, for me, you have 5 runners. They've added an extra. There you go.
Awkward poke there. It's still loose. Estrada!
There you go.
And he's equalized. David Estrada. Look what I found, and we're level 1-1 in the 19th minute.
And that's why you bring in David Estrada into this game and onto this team. The passion that he still shows, the hunger, the grit, the experience that he shows to kind of just be turned on in the box for anything loose that the keeper could drop. And there showed his resilience in battling back twice to get that equalizer. Great goal.
It's a big goal for the man in the captain's armband. Take another look. That's the finish right there. It was a solid stop by Putnam on the first effort, but Estrada more than happy to have that one come to him. James, that's why you put a man in the 6-yard box on corner kicks.
Yeah, I mean, again, against the run of play, like I said, this time they're very fortunate off the set piece. Great ball, and second balls matters. The keeper's not able to hold on to it, and Estrada's there to get 2 pokes at it, and the second one goes in. So this should lift this young team for sure.
Particularly on a night when conditions are so slick, you have to imagine that if we see another goal, could very well come in a second ball situation.
And up until that point, the Monarchs didn't look out of sorts. They looked fully comfortable in this game. But that's the game of soccer. You can have the full run of play, and a team only needs one chance to equalize or score a goal or go ahead.
Estrada now the team leader with 3 goals on the season.
Picked up limited minutes too. He's doing well with that. Love to see his minutes counts.
Picked up a brace in his other start this year, and rightfully atop the goal chart at the moment. And that's a goal that really could revitalize this team, as we're 20 minutes in here at Cheney Stadium. Andrew Brody on the ball. Just going to recycle it for a minute. James, for the Monarchs, what has to happen now? You get the early initiative, but like we said, there's all that time left in the match, and now you're back level. What do you have to do to try to settle back into, okay, we're playing essentially 0-0 again?
Yeah, of course. I think they just need to continue to do what they're doing. I mean, they're creating chances. They have the flow of the game. They have to have a bit more urgency to defend and not really take this S2 squad for granted, because they can come back and punish you just like any team. So I think they have to keep their foot on the gas pedal if they have, and they're dictating the game. They have to continue to do so and really try to put this game out of reach.
Well, we have Henry Wingo listed as our center attacking mid, but basically it looks like he's been given the green light by John Hutchinson to go pretty much wherever the game takes him. Helped dispossess Hernandez there, and then drifted over to the left wing.
Wingo talked to me this year about how they're trying to integrate him more into an attacking role. There were some questions to whether or not he'd be a right back or maybe a number 8, but he really showed his comfort level as an attacking midfielder last year, and that's where they're going to focus his energy this season.
Well, Morris lost out on that ball in a hard fashion cross coming toward Ray Serrano. Deflected by Ryden, you see there, that's just a height battle. Adams.
At that height difference, it might not be a battle.
Great defending sequence by S2 to hunt in packs and really get that ball back. We'll see an opportunity again here how they defend.
Cacher inside toward Portillo. Now it's Brody. Hurd playing himself toward the byline. Alfaro goes to ground.
Great cover. That's what you want in a center back, to be able to read situations, help out an isolated wing back, full back to offer the help, and Alfaro read that perfectly.
Thrown in toward the byline. Sent back out wide for a cross. Play to the left, back toward Ryden. Low ball in, shuffled away by Malone. Taken down by Estrada. That's a long slide that gets to Estrada long before it reaches the ball, and it'll be an S2 free kick.
On that last Monarchs throw-in, there was an interesting moment where Alfaro was coaching Malone as to where he was supposed to be on the field. It's good to see that leadership, because Alfaro is one of the wise veterans at his 25 years of age.
That's the beauty of the S2 model design. That's a great ball in for Ray Serrano. Serrano toward the byline. He's looking for support. And it's gone out for a goal kick.
Unlucky. Good thought.
Of course, there's one thing that these two franchises have in common, and they've had a tremendous impact on their academy footprint, you'd have to assume. And that's, of course, Garth Lagerwey, who kind of built this model out there that's coming to fruition in a beautiful way under the new Real Salt Lake infrastructure, opening a massive training facility out there, as well as a 5,000-seat soccer-specific stadium for the Monarchs at the end of the month.
Right, the facility looks absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to visit. Seen photos, seen videos. Absolute stellar. I mean, for me, it's almost like a Field of Dreams illustration. So kudos to that ownership group for making that large investment into the infrastructure of Salt Lake and their
It's reported at $60 million.
Beautiful. Looks beautiful.
RSL might not be known for spending money on designated players, but when you drop that much on a field, training
now you might get players that want to come at a discounted rate, so they did all right.
Malone trying to go over the top. Estrada goes down. He's going to look for a whistle. And it actually looks like he's going to get it here. Alan Kelly having words with Michael Gallagher. Clever ball over the top from Malone. And Dave, that's something you pointed out as something you were pleased about his game down at the Generation Adidas Cup.
Yeah, he's known to spray the ball out and hit his targets. That's, I think, the second or third time I've seen him try to pop it up and over, break somebody loose. With the short field here, that's a great skill to add to your game.
For me, it could be a serving opportunity for S2 there, especially, you know, against the run of play, if they're not having a lot of joy possessing and really attacking through the flow of the game. For me, an opportunity to just serve it in the box again, get bodies in there, get knockdowns. It doesn't have to be pretty, just like the first goal. You know, you play backwards.
Over top for Jake Morris. Morris is through here. Flag stays down. He's muscled off the ball. Putna slides onto it and into Morris. And now we're having a little bit of extracurricular activities. That Alan Kelly is quickly there to allow cooler heads to prevail.
sometimes playing backward allows the team to get set again. That time they did a good job of recycling and getting down the left part of the field. But for me, if there's a serving opportunity in a game like this, you really try to serve it, even if you're at a height disadvantage, and try to get creative with the service, challenge it, and really look for second balls and third balls.
With putting it down on that ball and Morris being shoved off of it by Gallagher, it looked a little bit like a ruck for a second. But this goal kick gets us restarted. It's Josh Hurd cutting the ball up, can't connect it. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. 27th minute here at Cheney Stadium. 1-1 between S2 and the Real Monarchs. S2, James, having really kind of played their way into this match these last 5 minutes or so.
They have. The equalizer definitely gave them some life. And now they have an opportunity to really affect this game positively for these next 10 to 15 minutes.
Morris winning a free kick along the far sideline. Goes for the long ball toward Estrada. That ball comes down. Gonzalez trying to muscle his way onto it. And, well, once again, you send a 16-year-old against the 23-year-old. Monarchs not out of the woods yet, though. Ball will be picked up by Cameron Martin. Serrano wanted it on the sideline. Goes inside toward Delem. Wingo gets it instead. Martin. Delem. Over top toward Estrada. Well played with the body by Gallagher and dealt away by Ryden. Lopez Espin.
Great tackle.
Taken down by Malone, and Wingo's back on it once more.
Malone took advantage of his center of gravity being lower.
Yeah,
He's got
exactly.
his hips right underneath.
Exactly. There's no need to really try to body if you're going to be outmanned and just don't have the physical strength to body with a forward like that. Then you use your strength, and that's his low center of gravity, timing his challenge well, shepherding him to one side, trying to dictate how he turns, when he turns, and then, you know, putting in a good challenge when appropriate.
Serrano picks that ball up. Hard work from Delem on the sideline just to keep it in play. He'll have to retreat to Meredith. Alfaro. You can see, like you mentioned earlier on when Estrada was called offside, James, he's just trying to creep up, push those center backs as far as he can.
Yeah, they'll definitely connect. I mean, it's unlucky. They've tried to connect a few times. Two veteran players, they'll find each other for this game, and for me, Estrada's going to get another opportunity to add to his tally.
Flagged offside once again there, but you could see he kind of checked in a little bit just to see if he could move far enough into that back line to convince the assistant referee that he was on onside before he went for that ball.
Yeah, very close. Good thought.
James, for the younger players, Serrano, Gonzalez, who are playing up there with Wingo and Estrada, how much your game can develop just from kind of watching and seeing those crafty things that a veteran knows how to do intuitively?
Of course, I think it's gamesmanship. It's really trying to get any competitive advantage that you can. So right now, Estrada is really trying to edge that back line. For me, now you have a second runner running with him. So now it's almost a play on two accords where the second runner can come underneath, but it shouldn't just be Estrada trying to press the back line. It should be simultaneous runs that confuse the back line and open up spots. So Alfaro can either go over the top or penetrate with a pass in behind the midfield and in front of the back line.
Cashier, we had another incisive run there. Strong challenge from Gonzalez out on the far side, and the teenagers here as we tick toward the 30-minute mark have really been holding their own so far, Dave.
Yeah, there's a bit more energy from them. They don't seem as intimidated as they did a little bit early.
Strong move from Hurd. He plays himself toward the byline. That's a cutback cross, free in the middle of the box. And Jordi Delem still on it and finally deals it away.
Very fortunate again, another missed clearance. very, very fortunate not to be down 2-1.
Well, it was a cross much like that that caused problems for S2 in their second home match of the season when they, or pardon me, that was the opener against T2 when they conceded. Take another look at this foul here. Morris heads it down, and Henry Wingo is cut down by Charlie Adams.
For me, if you're the Monarchs, you really try to continue to get the ball wide, overload aside, and whip balls in, because S2 has struggled with really trying to get a foot on their clearances tonight. And for me, if you're S2, you try to do the same. Just try to overload aside, get services in, get runners in the box, and not only, you know, challenge that first one, but look for that second, third opportunity to really get an or dictate the game and create a chance.
Throw-in comes back to Adams. He's looking for Cashier and finds him. Delem closing down. Cashier pushes back to Ryden. Ryden goes for the far post, and that one's dealt away. It looked like Tony Alfaro, who came in hard and smashed that ball into touch.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. They're able to create an overlapping opportunity, get the service in. Alfaro in a great spot to clear it.
Ryden, the 6'2" left back, looking to get those long arms into play here on this throw. Goes short to Cashier.
And I like Ryden. He's been bright. 2 goals already as a left back, attacking wing back. 6'2", great frame, 198, gets up and down the wing, gets services in.
Cross from Cashier toward goal. Meredith went to ground for that one. Didn't get a touch to it, so it will be a goal kick.
I like him. He's been bright for me.
Right. 31 starts last year, 1 goal and 4 assists with the Jacksonville Armada of the NASL, the other league in the American Second Division that had to announce this year that they would be forced to suspend the 2018 spring season. Hear exclusive stories directly from the USL's players and USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch, with written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. As another cross comes across goal there. Ball back toward Ryden. Touchdown by Serrano, but out of play. Hernandez looking for a big switch. Finds Moberg. Brody closed down by Gonzalez, going to take him on though. Wide right, it's Hurd. More dangerous stuff from Hurd. Meredith tips that one. It comes free at the back post and is shuffled away by Serrano.
And that's just an example of what services can do on a wet surface. You're thinking it's going to be whipped on the ground to cause havoc. It's through the air. It's still wet. It's raining. It's dewy, and goes through the hands of a very veteran goalkeeper in Meredith. So we can only imagine what the surface is like and what the ball is like. So for me, you continue that on both sides, just getting the ball wide, trying to create numbers up, and just whip the ball in and edge the lines and get runners in the box to create opportunities. It's a simplified game when you think about it. When I was first drafted to the New England Revolution under Steve Nicol and Paul Mariner, we had a few things we wanted to do. Dominate the midfield, get the ball wide, whip it in, and edge our lines. And that was our game plan into every single game. And for 3 years, we were a powerhouse. Unfortunate not to win the MLS Cup 3 years in a row, but that was our motto. Dominate the midfield, get the ball wide, whip it in, edge the lines.
Moberg. Back for Brody. Brody wanted to go over the top there. Just couldn't time it up with the run of Josh Hurd, but Hurd has been causing problems for Jake Morris out on that far touchline this evening, James.
He has. It's a great matchup. Welcome back, Morris, to go against Hurd, who I think has been very bright as well. I mean, good pace, good movement, good 1v1 skill.
Wingo going to win that ball. Try to go wide to Delem, put it behind him. You see there just the coordination that you talked about, James. Obviously one of the challenges for John Hutchinson as he tries to prepare the S2 side for a match is oftentimes he won't get the first team players in training until the day of.
Right, and that's unfortunate because those are 2 first team players that should be able to connect there. And then now you see a great reaction. That's all you need. Mistakes happen, they occur. Great effort to win the ball back, great reaction. But yes, that type of disconnect can definitely affect the flow of the game. So that's why you really try to keep it simple, have good reactions, really over-communicate, and dictate how you want the ball with your voice, with your runs, with your gestures.
Under 10 plus stoppage to go here in the first half. We're level at Cheney Stadium. 1-1 between Sounders FC2 and Real Monarchs. It's a long ball toward Ryden that is a little bit too long, and Andrew Putna perhaps having some difficulty adjusting to the size of the field. We know Brian Meredith had his own struggles. And S2 was at home against Fresno. Appeals for a handball there, and it will be given as a free kick. Martin just replays it back to Alfaro.
For me, if Cameron just sets it and plays down this right flank here, you have a 3v2 opportunity to create numbers up. Here we go, same scenario. Now they've already shifted, so it's almost the gamesmanship again, right? To face your body towards Alfaro, but you've already taken a peek, and you know that your number's up on this right side, so all it takes is a shift to the hips, play it here, you can create an overlapping opportunity, a numbers up opportunity, so it's a little bit of that creative gamesmanship that will be added to the young player's game as he continues to progress through the system.
Malone thought about going long, keeps it short to Serrano. Lost ball in the middle, it's turned over to Charlie Adams. Adams wide right, finds Hurd. Hurd now taking his space, closing in on the 18, closed down by Morris from behind and forced to turn back. Back out wide to Brody. Low ball in from Brody. Alfaro keeps it in front of him. Closed down by Lopez Espin. It's another turnover to Hurd. Hernandez. Brody. Brody pressing on now. And still controlled by Hernandez. Lots of possession in the final third for the Monarchs. Can they cash in here in the 38th minute?
That one simple, costly turnover square ball has led to 45 minutes.
Rides around his man, jumps over a challenge from Delem, but the ball gets away.
And they're still not at a danger. So that one simple turnover can lead to 45 seconds or a minute worth of work for your team when that turnover is not necessary. So that's again for a young player to really concentrate on taking care of the ball, make the pass, complete it when he's able to, and just be able to connect the pass through the flow of the game.
Is this a moment for S2 to simplify or to press on, James?
Yeah, for me, I think it's time they can, at home, I think they always need to be looking to go forward and always looking to be pressing a game, especially with the record that they've started with thus far, but to do so intelligently, strategically, intentionally, and not just one person. For me, it needs to be a cohesive unit attacking, a cohesive unit defending.
Tony Alfaro moving up the far side. Inside for Morris. Went for Estrada. Pass was misplayed. Casher, the goal scorer from earlier, finds Ryden. Lopez Espin moving into the middle. Ryden underneath the Portillo.
They would push us too deep. They're pushing them deep.
Early ball from Brody, headed away by Alfaro. Wingo gets involved. And it's still Wingo. Holding on to that through a couple of challenges. Estrada trying to turn up there. Appeals for a handball. Alan Kelly is right there. He says no way.
For me, you continue to going right there. Tailored to reaction. You had Wingo early on where I commended him for reaction, and there running next to the ball with his hand up, trying to get bailed out by the referee instead of just reacting and pouncing on it. You saw it today in the Champions League, how many goals were scored off mistakes with just good, solid reactions and people pouncing on opportunities and trying to create any competitive advantage they can.
Ball now at the feet of Meredith. Monarchs content to wait for him to play it out of his own end. Just making sure his defenders' feet aren't going to sleep here. Everyone getting a touch on the ball now. And that one finally gets away from him. ESPN Plus is the new streaming home with the USL in the United States. Watch all the action throughout the 2018 regular season and USL Cup playoffs starting on Saturday, April 14th. Visit uslsoccer.com for more details. And we will talk more about that at halftime. But in the meantime, 40 minutes gone. Dave, the critical 5 here at the end of the first half. What does each team have to try to accomplish as we tick toward halftime?
S2 needs to be tidier in their own third. Several of these turnovers coming in places where they shouldn't be making mistakes. Their possession isn't leading to goal opportunities. So I need them to be tidier in the back. Right now, the Monarchs are taking advantage of that, and their possession has generally been dangerous.
Estrada coming way forward to challenge for that ball. Serrano wins it off Cashier. It's quickly back to Meredith. James, we talk about the line of confrontation so often. Monarchs tonight seem to have set theirs much lower than S2.
Definitely. I mean, I see early on Monarchs came out with a lot of energy, has since receded, but again, this game comes in ebbs and flows. They can sit back, they can change the rhythm and their line of confrontation. S2's doing the same, and now that's dictated more so by Estrada and his ability to really stretch the line offensively, but also press by himself defensively. So the team has to read the press and either have to keep Estrada from going until the team's connected or go with them. But you can't, again, has to be a cohesive, connected unit.
Cam Martin tried to slip one through to Jordi Delem there. Delem realizes it skipped off the surface
so
on
you
that
see
first
Estrada,
bounce.
there you go. And now you go together. This is where you have to win the challenge, the second ball, and now you win it back as a unit.
Estrada holding off Gallagher there.
Well done by Estrada in that sequence and the team as well.
Serrano.
And that's all it's about. It's about staying connected. You see Estrada look over his shoulder, boom, got set, wait till the team got set, initiated the press, and everyone was connected and went with him.
Tony Alfaro caught out there by Jose Hernandez. Tries to make up for his mistake by upending Hernandez and gives away a free kick in the process. See it there. Just kind of slips as going back to that ball, and Hernandez puts in a shoulder, wins the free kick. Portillo will be the man to put it back in play.
Offensively, if Wingo and Estrada are able to run off each other, they'll create a lot more space and there'll be a bit more outlets. Again, you see Estrada will make a run and no one's offensively into space and no one's really connected with him when he's running. So if you can get simultaneous movement, that could really free up some space for S2.
Meredith taking his time to restart that ball. 44th minute here at Cheney Stadium. That's a long one. Morris settling up underneath it, gets the flick on header. Punched away by Moberg. S2 back on it now. It's Morris. And that one hard off his shins on the challenge from Justin Portillo.
Again, going into the last few minutes of this first half, you still see the engine in Estrada being able to press, cause havoc, dictating play. This is exactly why you bring him, and now you want the guys around him to almost simulate that.
Ball up to Lopez Espin.
There he is again. Affects the play. Just by that, it's able to affect the play. Now the team can breathe, or he can go quick, but that all starts with Estrada. You love, as a defender, you love a forward like that. That's able to, one, cause havoc with his runs, who's able to hold the ball up, who works off the ball, things of that sort, but also who has the quality to put the ball in the back of the net.
Clever bit of passing from S2 there. Martin gives it back to Wingo. Wingo a couple times tonight looks like a wide receiver coming around the end on a fake handoff. Did he keep that in play? Assistant referee says it trickled over. It's gone out for a goal kick.
That move up the right, they used a couple triangles there, opened up space, gave Wingo the opportunity to dribble where he wanted because his man was no longer aware of where he was.
Absolutely. Waiting on word from the fourth official about how much stoppage time to expect as we tick toward the 45-minute mark. Putna to put this ball back in play. Well, that's why we didn't get any warning. There will be no stoppage time here in the first half. It's been pretty free-flowing stuff, and both teams have been rewarded for their play with a goal. James, your thoughts on this first 45?
For me, the Sounders started a bit slow, which has kind of been indicative of the start to the season, and the Monarchs were able to punish them on one mistake. A service opportunity that wasn't cleared, wasn't handled well, a layoff, and a fantastic goal. But they settled in, they started creating opportunities themselves, and again, I said it would happen probably against the run of play, and they were able to equalize against the run of play and be back in this game and looking to get another good result here.
Plenty of excitement here in the first half between S2 and the Real Monarchs. We're tied 1-1 after 45 minutes, and we'll be back after this.
My name is Ray Sari, center mid, and I got one question for you.
I'm David Olson. I'm a forward, and I got one question for you.
I have one question for you. I'm Francisco Narbon. I'm a center mid. I got one question for you.
Do you S2?
Do you S2?
Do you S2?
I S2.
I S2. We S2.
We S2.
We S2.
Do I S2?
Do I S2?
Do I S2?
What kind of question is that?
What kind of question is that?
What kind of question is that?
Now I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking. Cause I'm thinking it too.
Do you S2?
What does S2 mean to me?
What does S2 mean to me?
Love.
I suck.
I got a question.
I got a question for you. I got a question.
Do you S2?
we're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the USL ownership group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues and bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to all of the things we're trying to do. Building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments. Attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production and infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
Welcome back to Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington. It is halftime between Sounders FC2 and the Real Monarchs. Andrew Harvey alongside James Riley and Dave Clark. And gentlemen, it is time, as we do every week, to take a look around the USL. And James, our leadoff item is the goal of the month from Atlanta United 2 and Lagos Kunga.
Yes, absolutely fantastic goal. Great desire, determination by the young fella here to keep it on his left foot, beat a couple defenders, and go for goal. Stood up. Fortunately, it wasn't the game-winning goal, as the equalizer was given up 3 minutes later.
You've heard us talk about it a few times already during our broadcast this evening. We mentioned it pre-game, but this is the final match of S2 that will be live streamed on YouTube this season, as the entire USL has signed a landmark deal with ESPN Plus to become its official streaming platform. Dave Clark, tell us more about this deal.
The keynote for a soccer fan about the ESPN Plus deal is obviously the USL. All of our watchers are going to love that. But also what viewers are like is the MLS out of market games. Those are going to be on ESPN Plus rugby, cricket, tennis, and a lot of college sports. It's a way that you're going to be able to expand your access to sports like USL, MLS, and other soccer around the world.
Dave, I believe I was reading up on pricing. It's $5 a month, $50 for the year. Kind of a must-have for a sports fan these days.
Yeah, it's a small price point. It's going to be, ease of access is going to be there for anybody that's used to streaming, and it connects the USL with ESPN, which will lead to 6 USL games being on ESPN's traditional cable channels as well as USL Cup at the end of the season. So more soccer, more visibility for this league.
Well, we've played 45 minutes here at Cheney Stadium. The second half coming up. Don't go away. We'll be back.
my name is Ray Sari, center mid, and I got one question for you.
I'm David Olson. I'm a forward, and I got one question for you.
I have one question for you. I'm Francisco Narbon. I'm a center mid. I got one question for you.
Do you S2?
Do you S2?
Do you S2?
I S2. I S2. We S2.
We S2.
We S2.
Do I S2?
Do I S2?
Do I S2?
What kind of question is that?
What kind of question is that?
What kind of question is that?
Now I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too.
Do you S2?
What does S2 mean to me?
What does S2 mean to me?
Love.
I'm sorry.
I got a question.
I got a question for you. I got a question.
Do you S2?
We are back at Cheney Stadium through the first half. 1-1 between Sounders FC 2 and the Real Monarchs. Goals coming, and before we get into it, let's take a look at some of those highlights from the first half. It was a quick strike that got things started. Dave, take us through this.
Salt Lake, the Monarchs, they used a long pass to break things down. One player falls down, they're taking advantage of it. And then, again, as we've seen today, that one poor clearance, and the Monarchs pounce on the ball.
Yeah, Master Casher did not need more than the opportunity that was given. First touch, first goal of the season for him. But S2 found a way back into it. Jordi Delem going down here, drew a promising looking free kick. We'll see it here. David Estrada dealt into the middle, but Andrew Putna off his line managed to win that back. But then in the 19th minute, the ball came in. David Estrada was more than happy to harass Andrew Putna and come away with the equalizer. Third goal of the season for him. And Dave, this is just old-fashioned bully ball.
Yeah, that's the bulldog attitude that David Estrada loves to bring. He's going to take the shot. He's going to take the shot again. He's going to keep on going after that ball until it's in the net.
And finally here, just a couple more looks of the action. And before we get back to it and welcome back in James Riley, we're pleased to have on head coach Brian Schmetzer of the MLS Seattle Sounders this evening.
I'm sorry I'm taking James's job.
No, it's fine. It's, you know, it's yours to have if you want it, to be honest with you. But coach, your thoughts on these first 45 minutes here and what you've seen out of S2?
Well, I think Dave hit it on the head. It's life or death in the penalty box, especially if it's sloppy conditions like this. I thought on both goals, you know, defenders need to make sure clearances, some of those small details, you got to work on that. You got to work on that in training and make sure you make those little plays inside the 18-yard box.
You'll see there Alex Roldan being subbed on for Henry Wingo. At the half, coach, you have a couple of first-team guys that you've sent down to John Hutchinson here and a couple more academy guys. Who kind of has jumped out to you as players that have impressed through 45?
The whole squad. John Hutchinson has done a great job. The cohesion between, you know, the academy, S2, and the first team, we're working on that constantly to try and make sure that the players develop in the best possible way, and I'm happy. I'm happy to see young David Estrada leading the charge, but then, you know, Tony Alfaro, Jake Morris, you got Ray Serrano, you got a bunch of kids out there that are part of our organization that we're really proud of.
Coach, what's the message overall to academy players like this as you're getting ready for a first-team game and you get a chance to maybe talk to some of the 16, 17-year-olds about, hey, you have a potential to be the future of this club?
Well, I stay out of it. I let John do the coaching down in the locker room. I make sure they know I'm here. Garth and Adrian are here as well tonight, so we're watching. We're paying attention, and we want them to succeed.
Coach, thanks so very much for your time. We won't take up any more. Head coach of the Sounders, Brian Schmetzer, joining us here in the booth, and we'll welcome back in now James Riley. James, as we get things going here in the second half, your overall thoughts on that first 45 and what each team can do to capitalize on the start of the second frame.
Yeah, again, I think Coach Smet said it very well. It's paying attention to detail, especially in sloppy conditions, and for me, that's going to win games. It's going to be a conversion off a mistake, a bad reaction, sloppy clearance again, and another team is going to capitalize. So for me, there's definitely a couple more goals left in this one.
And the rain still coming down here at Cheney Stadium. And the pitch has held up very well. This kind of the first heavy rain conditions that we've seen, and not only has it been raining throughout the course of today, but it was also raining the past 2 days while the pitch was coming down. The team actually put up a really cool video on social media. You can see a long exposure shot of the film being prepared, but James, it's held up just fine.
Of course, kudos to the field crew for being able to turn over this field and really manage it through the course of the rain. We walked it before the game, and for me, it looks good. Seams are okay. It runs very well thus far, especially with the dewy surface. So kudos to the field crew for the management of the field.
Well, as we mentioned moments ago, Roldan on is that's a long uncorked shot from Charlie Adams. It goes well over the bar. Alex Roldan coming on here for another appearance with S2. And what do you hope to see out of the rookie?
For me, again, to dictate the game just by what he can control, bring some energy, bring good reaction, connect play, you know, really show why he has a first-team contract and is down here to get minutes to really stay sharp to continually affect the first team when he gets opportunities.
This is Jose Hernandez inside for Charlie Adams. Adams going down on contact there, and that's Roldan's first involvement. It's going to be a yellow card for Charlie Adams. Alan Kelly feels he went to ground too easily, and he is booked for simulation.
Great work by Alan Kelly. Alan Kelly, a very experienced referee, great temperament for me. I've had him on the field as a player. I think he does very well. He's a great manager of the game and speaks to players well, lets the game flow. For me, Kelly is a top-notch referee.
Yeah, you have to talk about players getting rehab stints at the USL. Kelly pretty much always exclusively in Major League Soccer play these days, so I have to wonder if he might be coming back from a slight muscle pull or something for him to come down here today, but certainly both sides will be happy with the game he's called.
And then again, there's Estrada playing on the back shoulder. Great ball delivered, a great opportunity for him to bring that down and have a strike on goal. But again, Estrada's going to continue to play on the back shoulder, and then again a reaction to really make it uncomfortable for the Monarchs and dictate how they play.
Free kick going the way of the Monarchs, who looked like they were thinking about playing quickly. Dave, you've had a chance to glance at some of our first half stats. And as you look back over the score sheet, is there anything that kind of jumps out to you from that first 45 minutes?
I'm a little bit surprised by the duels one number because that's in S2's favor at 55%. And considering the size and the youth, that's a strong indicator that they can remain in this game.
Josh Hurd going straight at Jake Morris. And Morris wins it away cleanly. Well, we just had Sounders head coach Brian Schmetzer on. Had you had the occasion to mention that to him, he would have gone from being pleased with the first half to very pleased. Schmetzer always one to emphasize the importance of duels one. Was that always the case when you were playing for the Sounders, James?
Of course, I think it's a characteristic and a column that you want to keep a tally on. And for me, I have the utmost respect for Schmetzer and what he's done as a player, but also as a coach and what he's done for this organization at the USL and MLS level. And for me, he said it very well that they're here. And when he says that, he means himself, Adrian Hanover, Garth Lagerway, Tommy Dutra,
This is
Preki.
Serrano, pardon me for a moment, as that one comes in, will be cleared away by Charlie Adams.
The entire group is here, so these games mean something to them. This is a great opportunity for first-team players and players trying to navigate the pipeline to show well in front of a staff that's dedicated to, you know, the development of players through their pipeline.
At the end of the first half, James had said that he wanted to see the S2 go wide a little bit more often, get some more crosses off. They only got one open play cross in the first half to 13 for the Monarchs. So that shows how teams are using their width.
Exactly what we alluded to in the first half. Make the game simple. Get the ball wide, get numbers in the box, whip it in, edge the lines. Make the game simple for me, especially in conditions like this where they're not the best.
Turned over to Morris. He'll go out wide for Asriel Gonzalez. Gonzalez toward the back post. No one really home. Gallagher deals with it. Delem. Going up top finds Alex Roldan. Estrada. Cross in from Roldan, headed away. Only as far as Estrada. A low ball that time. It looks like it deflected and will go out for a corner.
Great sequence by S2. Again, alluded to exactly what you mentioned, Dave, just to get the ball wide, whip it in, edge the lines. They're in good spots to be on top of the clearance, recycle the play, continue to put pressure on the Monarchs and get a corner out of it.
That's the longest stretch of sustained pressure they've had in dangerous places for this match.
Last time Gonzalez turned into a corner, it turned into a goal. That's a high ball toward the middle.
Again, I think they can add one more player in the box, honestly. They have 4 players outside the box to know Monarchs really pushing the line high. You add another player just to create some type of havoc. I know they have 2 on top of the box. For me, there's an opportunity to really try to throw them off, because right now the Monarchs are matched up. They know exactly who's coming in. So if you have a late runner coming to the box, causes a bit of havoc. People come off their marker a little bit, creates a little space, and now you can create a chance or an opportunity.
Kalen Ryden strapping his boot back on. Ordinarily, James, when we talk about a guy getting decleated, it's from a big hit. A little bit more literal in this case. Here's another look at that corner kick. You can just see there, a foul on Ryden. Tony Alfaro puts too much into him.
Look at the engine of Estrada still to just be pressing the game and causing a turnover. It's simple. There you go. Especially if the game's connected and you have guys behind him that with that same work rate that are complementing what he's doing, they have opportunities to win the ball back in good spots.
Tevez. Serrano looking for Roldan. Ball wouldn't settle down. Charlie Adams. Still moving here, goes ahead. We talked about Monarchs finding space out on the wings, but for the most part, everything they've tried to play through the middle has been cut out by this back line. Brody. That one deflected right away by Gonzalez.
That's good news for S2's back line and their center midfield as well. Those are young kids that are managing to shut down a strong Monarch side.
And a common theme I've seen as well is the willingness to block services as opposed to previous games at home. I see a willingness, we've already seen it, we saw it in the first half, we see it there. It's just a willingness to really sacrifice the body, get tight, cut down the angle, and block services.
Insightful ball from Delem to Roldan to spin this attack. Now Morris is on it. He'll ride out a challenge. Estrada has cycled back, goes to Tevez. Tevez wants Delem down the far side. Delem looking to link up in the middle. It's cut out.
Morris needs to be edged up there. He needs to be edged up tight. Don't let the player be able to get the ball in turn, especially if he has no one. And that's communication from the center back to the midfielder, but primarily from the center back and maybe even Meredith to say, hey, you need to be tighter. I have everything covered behind you. We need to be able to try to lock him in.
Estrada up to Roldan.
Great turn.
Roldan uncorks one, and that one gonna miss well wide.
Don't mind that. Great turn. Showed some determination, a bit ambitious on the long distance effort, but good determination to turn the player and go for goal.
As we take a look at this bench, we've already had one sub on. Here's another look at the man himself, Alex Roldan. Subbed on at half and put that one wide of the net just now, but Monarchs have a bunch of talent in their 18, including Chandler Hoffman and Sebastian Velasquez, a pair of 27-year-olds who could very well still see time in this match. Brody here, space for a cross. Morris, failed clearance, comes back to Hernandez, who turns. Squared up against Tevez.
Great skill.
Toward goal.
Great skill.
That shot flashes wide. It did not take a deflection. It's out for a goal kick.
Great skill by Hernandez there.
Another look at it there. Just getting the better of Dylan Tevez.
Two-step.
It's a good job by Tony Alfaro making certain to shut down that angle in the wide space.
Rolled on. Up to Estrada. Serrano trying to push that forward for Estrada. It's a foot race now. Moberg wins it. Putna deals it away.
Again, for me, the outside backs have to be tight. That outside midfielder should not be able to get the ball as the lines are edged up. It has to be communicated from the center backs, but also as an outside back, you just have to read that and be side on to, one, set up an opportunity to win the interception and continue to keep the team built in. But that outlet we've seen happen on both sides needs to be addressed, and that needs to be addressed from Brian Meredith or the center backs.
Cameron Martin making his third start of the season tonight. The 17-year-old whistled for the free kick there. Quick link-up play finds Ryden. Low ball Ryden trying to come inside.
Great cover. Great cover. Fortunate to get the goal kick there. Great cover.
Have your say in who becomes the USL Player of the Month for March and which player earns the USL Goal of the Month and Save of the Month awards by casting your vote this weekend at uslsoccer.com. That one's gone out for another Monarchs throw-in. 58th minute, 1-1 here at Cheney Stadium. Andrew Harvey alongside James Riley and Dave Clark. Both these teams looking to find the go-ahead goal here. That's a dangerous turnover to Lopez Espin. Comes out wide right, and the flag up for offside on Josh Hurd. A tight call here on the near sideline, but the referee seemed absolutely certain of it. You have to be, James.
Of course, he's in a good spot to make the call. It's close, but I think he got it right in that instance.
Play restarts toward Alfaro.
It's a tough ball.
That ball actually going to stay in. Morris goes ahead to Azriel Gonzalez. And the flag up on the far sideline for offside.
That's something I want to see from Gonzalez, though, more. He and Serrano in the first half didn't use those spaces behind. They're smaller kids. They got to take advantage of their speed so they can be technical in dangerous places.
Ball up toward Lopez Espin. Alfaro gets around and wins the header.
Good positioning, way to shift his body, get in front of the attacker.
Tevez upended. And thought you might see advantage played. Alan Kelly pulls it back and play quickly restarted by Tevez. And then turned over. James, both the Sounders and S2.
Yeah, could be a serving opportunity for me there. It allows the team to breathe a little bit, get some bodies there. You know, take a little bit of air out of the game, get a good service, a good opportunity. For me, again, that's a service opportunity. An in-swinger.
This is a cross wide open to the back post. Here's Brody. Meredith off his line. He charges out, gets the ball, stays down. And that's going to draw a whistle from Alan Kelly.
That's a fantastic save.
Brian Meredith steaming off his line.
Phenomenal save. Brave save by Meredith there.
See it here. Cross comes through. Brody completely alone at the back post. And it looks like he got stepped on the follow through. No ill intent from anyone involved, James. Just one of those moments that really hurt.
Absolutely. He's tough. He'll be okay. For me, that starts again on for me, unnecessary to take a quick free kick there. An in-swinging opportunity, dewy surface, dewy ball. get bodies in, have a service, look to get second balls. It's an opportunity to have a chance on goal. So a quick opportunity, a turnover leads to this down here, and it leads to an opportunity for the Monarchs.
Well, goalkeeping is one of those positions that can happen at 0 miles an hour for 59 minutes and then happen at 75 miles an hour in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
Ryan
And we
Meredith.
called it. We said that Meredith was going to have to come up with a save or two to really keep this team in it as long as he could, and there he proved his worth. Brave effort by him. He'll be okay.
And you'll see there, like you mentioned, good refereeing from Alan Kelly. Actually restarting play with a drop ball.
Yep.
So there was no foul, just an injured goalkeeper, which when there's that level of risk, especially inside the 18, kind of have to blow the play dead.
Well done by Kelly. Again, Estrada forcing the game, pressing it a little bit. Again, it has to be intent. There we go. Guys have to be connected with him. Challenge the first one, win the second one. No
Lopez
problem.
has been
Good
drawing the free
sequence.
kick.
We're hunting in packs now. S2's hunting in packs a bit more. But again, Estrada is dictating all of that from his position up top, right? He waits, and then he goes. People have to be connected with him.
Charlie Adams looking for a free kick. He's going to win it there. Meanwhile, there's action on the far sideline. Looks like we might see our second S2 substitution before too long. Another look at the foul here. Adams just kind of held up as he tries to go through a couple of players.
Looks like this is going to be an outswinger, still a dangerous opportunity for the Monarchs. A challenge for S2 to defend this one. Again, not just the first ball, but the second and third ball to really clear it out of danger.
Moberg, Gallagher, Lopez Espin, all just inside the 18, riding, waiting toward the far post. That one comes toward Moberg, and Moberg can't bring the header down. That's going to lead to the second substitution of the night for S2. On comes Nick Hines, and that will be the end of the night for Azriel Gonzalez. Oh, another aggressive-minded move from Coach John Hutchinson, James.
Of course, Hines, great addition. Definitely has the legs to go another 30 minutes. For me, explosive player. When he can really start converting the chances that he creates, whether by himself or combining, and actually putting that in the back of the net, he is going to be a fantastic player. But again, that comes with time. There needs to be production on the end of his runs, and that's key for any attacking winger playing the number 7 or number 11 position. You saw it in the last game, an opportunity to equalize late in the game, to get a draw, even playing a man down, two men down. For me, if he starts converting those opportunities that he is creating, he's going to be a player to watch.
He's also going to improve the defensive posture as well with his experience.
Great physical ability.
This is Hines' first involvement. Now he's got a little bit of room to run. Didn't feel like he had support coming, so he holds up, gives it off to Jake Morris. Morris now, the cross in.
Not bad. 3 runners in the box. At least we had 3 in the box. I think their runs could be a bit more cohesive together, but not bad.
Hurd going to try to stretch things out. He's already got advantage from referee Alan Kelly. Now an early cross toward Lopez Espin. A touch to control. A shot at the back end, and it's another sensational goal for Masta Cacher, who puts the Monarchs back on top 2-1 here in the 65th minute.
For me, again, a young player in Tevez, who we haven't spoke a lot about tonight, has an opportunity to break up this break right here by drawing a foul. Take your first yellow of the game, young fella. Grab, pull, kick, bite, scream, whatever you have to do to stop this break, knowing your team's out of position. He doesn't, creates the opportunity here, but he had a direct opportunity to really affect that game. Draw a foul, cut the play down, allow your team to get behind it and defend it.
Well, it's going to see the end of the night for Jose Hernandez.
And another great finish. Fantastic finish on the other end. A break, end-to-end, very simple break, but again, that needs to be a characteristic built into this young team. As you're attacking, It needs to be organized behind. If there would be a break, what are the most dangerous spots? How do we sort that out and put that fire out now? Do we edge this guy up? Do we pull this guy back? Are we good here? Are we numbers up? How do we defend the cross? Things of that sort need to be happening simultaneously as the team's attacking to be in good spots.
And coming on for Hernandez, who came off there, it is the veteran presence of Sebastian Velasquez, a man who has no shortage of experience. James.
Great player.
This is Velasquez now trying to play through Lopez Espin.
Velasquez, for me, great player, has MLS pedigree, first team pedigree, great crafty left foot. He's hungry, gritty, cheeky, crafty. It's a great sub to bring on for the Monarchs at this time. And going back to that goal, I think Lopez Espin did well to bring it down, lay it off. Big man did his job well. Judged the service correctly, drifted over the defender's head. Did well. And a great finish.
So S2 finds itself playing from behind for the second time this evening. Trail 2-1 here in the 67th minute. We'll have to dig deep for a second equalizer. Ball falls down for Hurd. Hurd, ball trips up on him a little bit. Morris comes back to recover. Hurd looking inside, a touch toward the byline. Spins in across, headed right away by Malone. Cameron Martin chopped down there. Play continues. Adams, Lopez Espin. It's Kesher. Coming back and winning out.
Great little touch. Hines needs to get in as well. If he dummies it, he's on the backside. Hines needs to be attacking that back box. Calling on Estrada
toward Putna.
Really should be aggressive. That's an opportunity for maybe, if they're cohesive, for a dummy, let the ball run.
Big first touch, Putna off his line. We'll see our second collision between an outfield player and a goalkeeper tonight.
But a great little touch by Roldan to get past that, skip by the defender, put in a great ball to Estrada. That's, for me, where you get next level. Hines reads that, is already telling Estrada to let it go. Estrada doesn't even need to see him. Fakes, lets the ball drift, and Hines is in one-on-one. Yeah, and for me, we haven't really mentioned Tevez's name a lot this game, and for me, he's been a bright spot in the last two home fixtures that we've been fortunate enough to be on, and tonight is a game where you really have had to battle for the right to play. And we haven't called his name. He hasn't connected the play like he normally does. And for a young player, that's just the growing pains. He's going to learn how to, one, watch tape, watch film, get direction, learn from each game. So many teachable moments early on in this season to really see, hey, how can I really positively affect this game? It could have been just that, to break up a counterattack. I need to be mindful and know gamesmanship enough to break up this counterattack and really take a yellow when my team's down, unbalanced, knowing that this is a dangerous opportunity to give up. Those little things you want to add into your game.
Second substitution for the Monarchs coming through now, and it's Chandler Hoffman. So Mark Briggs, not content to sit on this one-goal lead. He is going for the kill stroke.
Yeah, Chandler Hoffman, another former teammate of mine with the LA Galaxy in 2014, the year we won the MLS Cup. For me, a fantastic pro, fantastic player, great left foot, crafty, has done very well in scoring goals, and is just a poacher. He is a pure goal scorer. It doesn't necessarily need to be pretty, but he gets the job done. And for the Monarchs to be able to bring on a Velasquez and a Chandler Hoffman, both with top MLS pedigree, means he's definitely going after this game. And last year they beat S2 3-1 and 4-1 for a combined 7-2 goal differential. So you're looking that they're really going to try to continue to press the game a bit.
Roldan going through the middle now. A
Great
shot,
touch.
that one over the bar. Was it tipped? It was. Another corner for S2.
Great play, great turn, great pocket by Roldan, great run by the young fella. Great first touch. Nothing wrong with that. We'll take the corner. Great first touch, great hit. Good play.
Apologize for a mistake earlier on. We mentioned that Azriel Gonzalez had been taken off. It was in fact Ray Serrano who was removed in order to insert Nick Hines, who is waiting to take this corner. And that one's knocked away.
S2 has 3 guys that can really affect this game. You have Hines, you have Roldan, and you have Estrada. On the other side, the Monarchs have Velasquez, they have Chandler Hoffman, and other guys that have already put in a significant amount of work tonight that can really affect this game.
Blake Malone still standing strong here in the 72nd minute, where S2 trails 2-1 on the back of a 65th minute goal from Masta Kasher, his second of the match, second of the season.
So now we want to see S2 play with a little bit more urgency, not rushed, with some urgency. Get the ball down, move it around, connect play, have good reactions, hunt in packs, push the lines.
This is Estrada.
Good little ball.
Picking out Tevez, going through here toward Roldan.
Almost a great little look by Tevez. Great little first touch. Little interchange play between him and Estrada.
They're starting to pounce from possession rather than have that patience that they displayed in the first half.
Ooh, close, way close, unlucky. Ball delivered a split second earlier, he's on, but they're finding joy down that right side with Roldan and Gonzalez. So if they can continue to exploit that, could provide some joy and create chances for an equalizer here.
ESPN Plus is the new streaming home of the USL in the United States. Watch all the action throughout the 2018 regular season and USL Cup playoffs starting on Saturday, April 14th. Visit uslsoccer.com for more details. Of course, when that starts on the 14th, we'll have one of those matches for you. Kind of mentioned it earlier on. S2 going to have a third match in 7 days on Saturday against Rio Grande Valley FC. First, though, they have to look for a result here at home against a very good Real Monarchs side.
I like Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been bright this second half. He's been busy. He's been determined. He's getting into good spots with his runs, like you were alluding to, Dave. He's getting behind the defense. And he's also able to connect play and keep possession.
Tevez's infiltrating pass doesn't go through there. Brody and Hurd.
And again, that's something we spoke about early in the season with Tevez, is he has fantastic technical, tactical ability, but he needs a bit more bite, right? A bit more bite to be able to take a foul, take a yellow card when needed, get stuck in a bit, just to add to his game a little bit, especially as he plays a 6 or an 8, just to be able to add that element to his game will really help him develop.
The other match in action tonight is LA2 is hosting Phoenix Rising. They're at halftime right now. It's 0-0. Notable from that match is Didier Drogba did play on the road wearing the captain's armband on his trip to LA.
Legend. Wow.
Well, you know, it's only the turf that was an issue, which hypothetically does mean with the grass surface here at Cheney Stadium, there is always a chance that we may see Drogba legend take the field here later in the season.
shifty, crafty.
This is Brody. Now to Hurd. Hurd going right at Morris. Time for a cross, and that's easily grabbed by Meredith.
Hurd has put in a shift. I like his game. Very simple. I mean, he's linear. He's north to south. He's going to touch it, push it by you, try to whip in a service. It also has some quality to cut in, connect play. For me, he's put in a good shift. He's really, really challenged Morris this entire game.
It's been strong performances from all the University of Washington men involved, including Henry Wingo. Ball over the top, picks out Delem. Delem fights his way back in after an awkward first touch. It's Gonzalez. Tried to go back to Delem, it's cut out.
It's unlucky. Perhaps another option is to just put it right across the 6, cause some havoc, get a near post run, get a second runner, and just really just put that right across the 6.
See there, Sebastian Velasquez more than happy to slow down the pace of play. Recognize there wouldn't be any support, and we're going to see S2's final substitution. And it is a switch up top. Uncomes Felix Chankum, but it won't be Estrada coming off. They want to keep him on. It'll be the end of the night for Cameron Martin.
Estrada passed the message on to Alex Roldan to drop deeper.
Oof, great goal. There you go. The two MLS guys, Velasquez to Chandler Hoffman.
Well, and just like that, soccer so often described as a race to 3. And a potential dagger slid home there in the 77th minute.
That's the experience for me. You have two MLS guys that linked up, know that their minutes are important, know that building the culture that the Monarchs want to create is important, so when they're called upon, whether for spot duty as a sub or to start, they deliver, and they did so on that play. Great goal. Again, it starts from a throw-in, so S2, another learning experience. That opportunity should never be created off a throw-in. You should already be organized, you should have guys behind the ball, you should have guys in good spots. That opportunity happens on a breakdown on the right side, and again, they're punished for.
Still time for S2 to get back in this match, but time ticking away.
That could have been Chandler Hoffman's first touch, by the way. Not certain, but it very well could have been his first touch of the game. On his left foot, poacher. Great spot, great composed finish.
Excellent tackle there.
Great tackle. So again, for me, this is also a battle of different methodologies, different philosophies. Here you have the Monarchs who want to win games, and they know they have to develop as well, but they also want to win games. The ownership group has said, hey, we want to win games at this USL level and challenge for a championship and develop guys along the way. So you see a more veteran presence in this Monarch squad. For S2, a different approach. Young guys, a 15 and 16-year-old start, so they're hoping that these games and this season pays dividends down the road for the development of players that they've highlighted that they think can really affect the first team as they continue to mature through their player development curriculum.
Well, two things happened there. Josh Hurd got the better of Jake Morris, and then Jake Morris, as you'll see right here, gets the worst of Josh Hurd.
And he's going at him again. Hines decides to help.
Ball's back to Adams. Hurd. Adams, not much room to work. Finds a cross anyway. And it's Velasquez. Closed down, that time by Estrada, who's dropped way back in this new formation, allowing Chankum to go up top. Alfaro boots it clear. Chankum trying to fight his way onto that ball. And it's Adams who wiggles free. Referee Alan Kelly plays advantage. Adams taking his space, a big touch. Low ball in. That one comes away from Meredith and will be a goal kick. He and Hoffman got there at the same time.
So for me, a slight adjustment that can be made by Morris. If they continue to beat you to the end line, maybe now you give them a little bit cushion and you take it back and you take it away from them. Just a little gamesmanship, a little intelligence, a little switch of your angle and your defensive posture.
This is Cashier. Cashier, space for a final shot.
Good little effort there. And not to always give them the opportunity to go by to the end line. Now, you either just stagger your stance so that they can't. If they do, they have to have incredible space. Now you force them to go underneath, or maybe you have some help. And it doesn't always become an opportunity for serving to get beat for speed to the end line for service. Again, coming back from fitness, totally understand. But having said that, now you adjust for the fitness and lack of match fitness. Now you adjust your stance, give them a bit more depth, have them play underneath.
Putna to put this ball back in play. 81st minute. Real Monarchs on a couple of quick strikes over the span of 12 minutes here in the second half have climbed to a 3-1 lead. S2 looking to bag a quick goal, see if they can get themselves back into this match in its final phases. Ryden drops that back to Putna. Pressure from Chankum. And Putna forced to ditch it over the far touchline.
For me, we talk about Hines again. If he has the ability, we alluded to it, to really finish and have an end product from his winger position, from a 7 or an 11 type of position, that will amplify his stock and really help transition him to the next level. Another player that's similar position, Steve Zakawani, for me, coming in as a rookie, sophomore year as well, or sophomore year of MLS, was really able, had that end production, really was able to not only beat players, get in good spots, but really provide services, assists, goals. That's what we need from Hines to really affect the play of this game on spot duty, whether he starts, whether he's on spot duty, comes in as a sub, to really put his stamp on a game and show this staff, the Sounder staff here, that he deserves first team action.
Mastanable Cashier subbed off with 2 goals. No hat trick for him tonight, but he'll be more than happy, having provided what could well be the game winner.
So now you see extra bodies in the box for S2. For me, they should start the game with that urgency. Look how many guys you have in the box now. They should start the game with that same exact type of urgency. Too conservative for me. Now they've thrown extra bodies into the mix, really trying to create opportunities for equalizer.
Ball in from Roldan. It's an in-swinger toward the back post.
And you get 2 cracks at it. No problem with that. Seven bodies in the box compared to 4 and 5 in the first half.
Now, Putna going to begin the time-honored tradition of moving the ball as far as possible to the other side of the box before taking his goal kick.
And also with that, knowing that you're getting services, knowing that you may not have the height advantage or target, now that's where you get crafty and try to create set pieces and set plays off of the corner kick, whether it's for a short, create a 2v1 opportunity, change the angle of the service, things of that sort.
Play coming back for the Monarchs. A chance now atop the 18. Morris charging out. Roldan trying to close down from the top side. Well, the player who's subbed on for Masta Cashier wearing the number 81 shirt.
Great
Problem
turn.
is, on the lineup cards we were handed, there was no 81. So, unfortunately, we do not have a name for that player for you.
Velasquez is cheeky. Great little player. So comfortable in tight spaces with pressure on his left foot. Good tackle.
That's Velasquez there. Dropping it back to Portillo.
S2's doing a good job of forcing the retreat. Now they just need to get the Monarchs to make an error so they can break out again.
5.5 left plus stoppage for us to find something. If results hold, it'll be their 4th consecutive loss, 4th consecutive win for the Monarchs. Malone turns back on this one awkwardly. Meredith goes back square to him. Well, Momentum swinging fully the way of the Real Monarchs. S2 trying to claw for a bright moment. Shankum goes down, lead to a free kick.
Still time left in this game. We'll see what happens. Right now you're fighting, battling for respect here as you wear the crest of the second team, as you fight to possibly wear the crest of the first team. These details, like Spencer alluded to, are important. So how do you finish a game? How do you start a game? How do you still try to affect it to the last whistle? With the ECS still cheering on in the rain. You know, how do you really judge your body of work at the end of the night?
Short restart to get things going again, goes into Moberg. More link-up play to Josh Hurd, who has really been a nuisance for S2 over the course of tonight's match. Morris coming away with it there, but Hurd's been very impressive along what is now the near sideline. Hurd once more. Velasquez. One away by Hines, and Hines can't keep hold of it.
Hurd, for me, again, put in a great shift. Won a contract as a trialist, so you see him, he's playing with kind of that chip on his shoulder, that he's been looked over, that, you know, he really hasn't had his opportunity. And so you see that in his body of work. You see him fighting and pushing and trying to really put his stamp on the game. So he's definitely should be proud of the shift that he's put in along this right side.
Combination play along the far side.
Will he get first team minutes with RSL? I'm not sure, but did he put in a fantastic shift here tonight? Yes, and it's not over yet, but I've been very impressed with his work rate, his simplicity of the game, his willingness to drive at players, try to get services in, try to get corner kicks.
Another attempt from Meredith to spark some instant offense. Sails too far. It's gone out right at halfway.
As one of the Huskies, he's an example of that theory in scouting, that you pick up a guy that you know well. You know exactly what he's capable of doing. Craig Weibel did that with him, with Gallagher.
Estrada going to go down here. That'll draw a yellow card for Sebastian Velasquez. 88th minute. Well, if it's going to happen for S2, it has to happen soon. Blake Malone, who's hit some good long balls tonight, standing over this one.
Right now I'm looking at body language. So as you have the Sounder staff here, you have first team players watching the live stream as well. All of this stuff is noticed, right? I want to know that I can play with a guy that's going to battle to the last moment, that has good body language, that's relentless, that no matter the score, that he's going to represent the badge well, and not take it for granted, and know that he could have limited opportunity to do so. That's what I'm looking for in this last 3 to 5 minutes of play here. And obviously an opportunity to dictate the game, try to get a goal, and really push.
It's Ryden. Links up with our unknown substitute. Once again, no name given for the player wearing 81 tonight. On. Square to Estrada, 90th minute. Can't imagine you'll see too much stoppage time here. Second half has flowed almost as freely as the first.
An opportunity to maybe see the second runner. He saw the initial one, but it's to see behind that, maybe possibly see the second runner, Delem, on that play.
S2 have a throw-in on the far sideline. Delem, down line, picks out Gonzalez. Roldan. Receiving word there will be 3 minutes of added time here at Cheney Stadium.
You would think playing in the downpour would be an advantage to S2, but they haven't really used that to their advantage in this fixture. Whipping balls in the box, low-driven balls, bended balls in the box, really using the skip of the turf to cause havoc, getting the ball wide, you know, laying some tackles, things of that sort. Hasn't really been displayed tonight by S2. They're in the game for long stretches. Again, the game can be, there's moments of a game that a team can dictate a win or not, and I think the Monarchs tonight definitely dictated their way to win tonight by capitalizing on mistakes by S2 and really punishing them when given the opportunity.
James, when you were talking about seeing those players put forward that effort late, Jake Morris had that bad pass there, miscommunication between him and Hines, but he still tried to chase it down. If it held up a little bit more, he would have been on it. If S2 is to perform a miracle right now, they need plays like that. They need players to not quit. And so that's good to see late in the game.
And again, for the program, for the club, great teachable moments tonight. As I think the entire season, they've had countless number of teachable moments on how do you, one, create culture with this team? How do you dictate wins and losses? How do you put yourself in position to win games? How do you take advantage of your games at home? How do you create competitive advantages with the weather, with the home field, things of that sort? All of that comes into play.
Yellow card shown to Felix Chankum, who went upstairs on Michael Gallagher while trying to break free. Just desperate to claw back a chance, and really that may be a blessing in disguise that Chankum only shown yellow there. We're in stoppage time at Cheney Stadium. S2 trailing 3-1 to the Real Monarchs. Putna restarts play. Alan Kelly was glancing at his watch just now. Is there one last run for S2? Ball out the far sideline. Estrada. Gonna give it to Delem. Delem heaves it forward toward Roldan. Headed back up by Gonzalez. Chankum turns, falls, and play continues. Alfaro. Morris going up for Hines. Flag stays down. Hines taking on Brody. Coming inside here. Finds a cross. It's Roldan. Roldan now toward the byline, looking for space for a cross. That's a high ball toward the back post, over the head of Chankum, and lifted over the head of Delem. Alan Kelly looks at his watch again, whistles in his mouth, and the whistle goes. Full time here at Cheney Stadium. Real Monarchs claiming their 4th consecutive victory to start 2018. A perfect 4-0, 12 points for them, and Sounders fall to 1-4, their 4th consecutive loss. James, your final thoughts on these 90 minutes?
Professional performance by Monarchs, kudos. Came out, got the early goal, allowed the equalizer, but then made some key substitutions, got some good play from their experienced players, and they are able to come on the road and put on a very good performance and get the result. S2, for me, again, great teachable moments, a different in philosophies. If they're not looking for results, which we've heard, they want to develop more players. Kudos for starting a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old and other young players. You got first team, you got running minutes for your first team players to kind of open up their legs. So good competitive fixture. For me, Monarchs deserve the win tonight.
Dave, S2 back here on Saturday night at 5 p.m. against Rio Grande Valley FC. Probably a very different starting 11 that we'll see that night, but stylistically, what does S2 have to do differently to come away with 3 points in that fixture?
I want to see a little bit less patience from them, a little more urgency, particularly early. Start strong. Start strong and take advantage of the home crowd. Take advantage that you can determine when to get forward and when to retreat. Tonight we saw a lot of patience and a team that was a little bit too welcome to pass it backwards.
Well, it is all smiles for the Real Monarchs, who will next play on the road at the Tampa Bay Rowdies on Saturday, April 21st. But S2, back at home on Saturday, we will have that game for you on ESPN+. We do so very much hope you'll join us. That's going to do it for us here at Cheney Stadium. For James Riley, Dave Clark, our director Adam Weigel, and all of us here down in Tacoma, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.